Oh my God, this eclipse season, it's just going to be amazing. It's going to be all about love. Now, it's not just like unicorns and rainbows kind of love. We will actually be all performing a health check on our love. On our love in the sense of how we practice, how healthy is our love practice, how healthy is our understanding of love, how healthy is our definition of love, how healthy are our love relationships, how healthy is our love that we have for, fill in the blank. And so what this eclipse season will do will pull us up on those questions, will get us to be questioning and looking into that, like where are we on this list of health checklist, and it will show us where we fall short, and it will reveal to us that where we do fall short, and that is gonna be all about the love for our dirty old self, for the self that no one's watching, the kind of self that we are when no one's watching, that we are not even concerned if anyone's gonna see, like the self that, if you're left kind of like an animalistic self, in fact, very much so, but not in a kind of predatory sense, more in the sense of like it really is absolutely comfortable in its most base, fundamental, earthly, bodily, basically, functions, and all that comes with it. So all the not so pleasant bodily functions and all the beauty the body can also has, and does have rather. So that's my take on it. That's my headline. So if you want to stick with me for the rest of this video, hi, my name is Maya. I'm your astrology crone, and I basically use astrology wisdom as I lived it in my real life, because I live astrologically. And so if that's something of interest, you might want to even subscribe. But if you're only interested about the eclipses, so stick around maybe a little bit more, because I'll be giving you some specific tips and some like interpretations of why this is happening, and then how that can actually be applied for you and be useful to you. So let's cover the facts. So the first eclipse we're having, it's a new moon in Libra at 21 degrees, and that's on 14th of October. And the second eclipse is the full moon in Taurus on 28th or 9th, and these dates are UK dates, so if you're elsewhere in the world, you might be a day early or a day later. So it's the end of 28th of October, and it's at 5 degrees Taurus. So in addition to those dates, far more important are the actual degrees of the eclipses. So what you want to be thinking and looking at is what do you have within, depending, I mean, I work with orbs wide. I'm not really fixed on like the exactitudes and the precision when it comes to orbs, because I'm thinking, I'm looking at the houses as well, and also what these planets that this particular eclipse might be actually. So if it's like a wide orb, but the planet that it's orbiting, that it's like aspecting in my chart, is like either Pluto or it's like something that has like a stellium. There are a few planets there. Then I would actually take it into account, because it's a powerful spot, so it radiates its power further. It's not just to that degree, right? So that's kind of why I'm flexible when it comes to, and I can't really give you like my own like a specific and precise instruction on how to work with orbs, but use your gut feeling if you're drawn to an area. And then also if it's like the planets that this Libra new moon will be squaring, opposing, conjuncting, if that planet of yours is in any of the cardinal houses of 10th, 4th, 1st, and 7th are also important. And then also like what's the ruler of your chart, what's your ascendant, so where is that ruler of your ascendant, the house, and then the sign, obviously. So if there is activity there to do with the new moon or the full moon even, but it's not exact orb, I'll still be looking at that as if there were an exact orb. You see, you can now hopefully see my logic. So, but if you want to be precise, and just for the sake of this video clarity, 21st degree of Libra. So anything you have in either Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, and Aries at that degree or near enough will be like majorly affected by this, and really important area of your chart to look at. Now, obviously, the house, very important. And then also with Taurus Venus, Taurus rather, full moon, we have 5 degree Taurus. So what do you have any 5 degrees in Leo, Aquarius, and Scorpio, and Taurus, obviously, and thereabouts, like within a few degrees either side of those of 5, in those fixed signs. So those are like super important, because the reason I always highlight and to me are far more important, the squares, oppositions, and conjunctions. Conjunctions are the most important, but then squares, in my view, and then oppositions, is because they're challenging. And I love a challenge. It's just I have a lot of squares myself, and but also it's where the work is, it's where the juice is, it's where do you feel alive. When things are easy, sure, we all need a holiday and want a holiday, which is a trine or a sextile. Sextile is kind of like a sextile in terms of holidays is like having a party, like going on a like a stag do, like a weekend away. So it's great, but you're absolutely knackered afterwards. Like it's a sextile is stimulating. It can be overstimulating, but trine are the easiest, right? It's just it's proper holiday, beach holiday with a book and cocktails, whatever your idea of a very relaxed holidays. So you see what I mean? We don't really do work. That's not a lot happens there. And I'm all about the work. The work meaning the shadow work, the individuation work. Like I wanna meet all of me. I want to know all of me. I want to love all of me. I don't want to hide. I don't want to, at least not to myself, right? So conjunctions, squares, oppositions are the kind of aspects that will get you to see those parts of you in work. So hence my advice about the eclipses. Now, the eclipses themselves, in general, are just the best times. I adore them. I mean, I adore them for the reasons I'm going to talk about. So even if you're not into astrology, and you are probably since you're here, but even if you were not, so just observe people in your life that you may have that are not into astrology. We all go through these things because these are energies that affect us. Astrology just gives it language and gives it understanding, and we can kind of, it gives us agency, so we know what's going on. So we are not like, you can hear people at the market who are not into astrology, or in a shop or in your neighborhood, whatever, right? Like complaining about, oh my God, I couldn't sleep last night, or, like, I don't know why this is happening, all this is happening, like, oh my God, too much, I can't deal with it, right? But astrology then gives you the answers, what's happening and why it's happening and what you can do about it, right? So that's the difference. But my point is, we are going through these portals. These are portals. I mean, these are like, you enter a different time line. You enter a different, you go through it's an energy vortex. It's like and I have found this over and over again, some more than others, and again depending where in my chart they are, so again for you too. But like, look back if you can trace them back, if you're curious, like other eclipses throughout the years or whatever, and find those eclipses where actually you truly felt like you were, what did just happen? Did I just lose a month, or even longer if we have longer, fewer more eclipses line up? And it does literally feel like you live a lifetime sometimes within an eclipse portal, like the first and the second eclipse. Mostly we have 2 eclipses, but sometimes we have 3 and 4. I think even there were more than 4. Anyway, and so because like the energies are ramped up, it's like a tornado, like a vortex, like a whirlpool, like there's so much going on and we get swept up in it. So one of the key advice I give to anyone, astrology or not, but astrology gives you the map, but even without the astrology, is to go with it. Now I know this sounds, and it could, I don't mean this irresponsibly, like be responsible, take responsibility, be smart about it, but like, don't fight too much. And we'll know we know when we're fighting because we fear something, we don't want it, but like, we're dragging our feet, we're being pulled, and when actually the fear is real. So of course, don't run into a bear, or run towards a bear in the woods, right? But run towards an experience that is gonna make you feel uncomfortable but safe, and your physical existence will not be threatened, or even like emotional to an see, this is the thing with emotional health, rather safety. That's the thing, like, and therefore mental health and mental safety. Of course, you don't want to go somewhere, but we know we have internal barometer and internal compass and internal switches that will alarm us loudly enough when something is truly like, if we were to go down that road, it would be too much. But we know when what we don't want to do is just because we rather really just stay in this cozy little corner of our life, and we just don't want to risk anything. We don't know what's going to happen, right? That kind of like almost like a childlike, toddlerish energy to it. So those energies, toddlerish energies, like, just please, like, just let them loose and let them, like, just take off those coats and those armors and whatever, and just go for it. If however you can, please go for it, because that's like, it's like, I don't know, like if you're going bungee jumping, which I have yet not done, and I will one day, I think. But let's say it's something that terrifies me. Have a bit of a thing about heights and all that stuff, vertigo, whatever it's called. But if let's say I did it like someone just prepared me for it, and like I can hold two people's hands, and I have below there is like this something that I feel so safe that even if I fall down there, I'll be fine, right? That kind of thing. So I'm covering all my those terrors, right? That's what the universe set us up like in the eclipse season. It gives us that setting that although it's something you're terrified to do, like bungee jumping, I know that there will be two people that are holding me, jumping with me, and they're actually pros and they're connected, whatever, right? I'm like, okay, I trust that. And then at the bottom, there is something else, whatever that is, that I also trust should anything go wrong, that I will be fine. And yet I know still that I will be terrified because the experience of being, with the gravity only, with nothing to stand on, right? It's just terrifying, right? So the terror is still there, but I know it's safe. So that's what eclipse season is like. It's like giving us that reassurance, even if we don't, like, that's my point. It's like, that's why I use astrology. If you're struggling to kind of live like that without knowing why or what that is, right? Which I completely understand. So that's where astrology comes in. It gives us that, like, says, yes, it will be scary, will be terrifying, blah, blah, blah. But because of what's happening, you're supported. It's like, it's actually, you're not going to die. And when I say die, I mean, obviously not literally as well, which is like, hopefully I don't have to spell that out to anyone here. But I mean, just like that feel, like that, it will be, like, you will be basically glad you've done it. In that sense, it's the opposite of that threat, die. I feel like I'm going to die. No, actually, we'll be glad you've done it. So that's my experience, certainly. Now, also, I am actually very designed for those experiences, so there is that. But that's what I meant earlier. Like, I know, I know my limits, and I know when I'm just, skiving and pretending that, it's too scary. Where actually, I just don't want to do it. But I should, and all this stuff. So let me just consult my notes and see where else we go now. Yes. So why is this all about love? So the two eclipses, the new moon in Libra and the full moon in Taurus, Libra-Taurus, are both ruled by Venus, and the rulers of all the transits are always super important. So these are Venusian eclipses, right? These are ruled by Taurus, and so that's why they're about love. This portal, this 2 weeks portal. But actually, I'd go as far as to say that even with that we already started this, the energies start to ramp up the previous full moon, so the full moon in Aries on 29th of September, and they will be lasting. I mean, really the effects and all the work that we do during the eclipses is, we see the results at the next eclipse, and you could even, well, there is even a bigger arc, but I'm not going to go into that. And then so like I say, from the full moon in Aries on 29th of September till where's the other one, on the 13th of November, new moon in Scorpio. So we are ramping up, we are building up to the first eclipse, and then we are kind of coming down off the second eclipse. So those two, the full moon in Aries and the new moon in Scorpio, are going to be kind of other two bookends to this experience of this vortex that I was talking about. And also, so the love piece, because it's Venusian, and I didn't really even plan this, although because we have South Node in Libra, of course the eclipses will always be in Libra, but they will be in Aries. I think next one will be Libra Aries. But this year, sometimes they get a bit wonky like that. Don't ask me too much how, because that's astronomy, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is, which is not my strength. But because we are, it's South Node in Libra, I have been creating content to do with Libra themes, and therefore Venus themes and relationships and Aries individuality and all that stuff. And so basically, truly, if this resonates, if you like my vibe and energy, you want to watch and actually binge on it during the eclipses, or as of today, right? So that you get into that mindset. So this is what I mean, just like the safety of the bungee jumping, like you can now really, like, you can just go with it, like, and get on the setting that that has been created for you to make it all safe. So if you watch all the videos, so the fact there is that all the videos are created June, July, August, and September. So that's 4 months of videos. I think there are 16 in total, and there are probably 4 that are nothing to do with Venus. There are Virgo, Pisces, and there is something about power astrology, I think. But otherwise, but I would watch Power of Astrology definitely, as that's kind of like gives you like the power of the eclipses therefore as well, but also when you work with your astrology to do with eclipses, it will help you as well. But the Virgo Pisces might not be relevant so much. And like I say, 3, I think, those videos. But everything else this summer, June, July, August, and September, I mean, just like it's if I was just handing this, because I wasn't planning so much. So watch them because they all talk about the themes, and particularly, and this one I will link below. I won't link the other 12 or however many, but the one I will link, which is the previous week one, which is What is Love? And it's the Venus answer. And it talks about the first eclipse. It doesn't, because I wasn't really prepared for that video at the time, for this eclipse video at the time. I was recording What Love Is, but essentially it is. So what's happening in the first eclipse season? So I just have to do this so I can see clearly. So we have New Moon in Libra at 21 degrees, and then we have Neptune in Pisces at 25 degrees and Uranus in Taurus at 22 degrees. In fact, Uranus in Taurus, 22 degrees, is the closest by aspect, by orb, sorry, the tightest aspect by orb that this new moon in Libra, this eclipse, is making. And then 21, I think that's, and then the Neptune, or maybe it's the Chiron opposition. There is Chiron opposition, there is Pluto square happening to this first eclipse in new moon in Libra. But what I want to talk about, because otherwise I'll be here forever, and this is what I do, I just highlight those, like, for me, that seem like the most striking parts of a transit, is that this, so what's happening with the Neptune in Libra, Neptune in Pisces at 25 degrees, Uranus in Taurus at 22 degrees, and new moon in Libra, the eclipse, solar or lunar, I never know, and I haven't taken note of that, so forgive me, but that's our first eclipse, new moon in Libra. The 3 create what's called the finger of God, or Yod, which I touched a little bit in my last week's video, really only to say that it's not something I work with much. It's fated. It's not an aspect I like working with. I find it a bit too, just something about it just doesn't gel with me. So that's it. That's all. That's all I can say about it. But what I do know is the details of it, like irrespective of its conclusion as an aspect, which is the Yod is constructed of 2 inconjunctions and the sextile. So 2 inconjunctions are the Taurus Libra part of it in this case, so the Uranus and then the new moon, and then also Pisces, Neptune, and Libra new moon. Those 2 are in conjunctions, and then Pisces and Taurus, so Uranus and Neptune, are sextile. So sextiles are stimulation, but they're happy stimulation. They're like a party stimulation. You can overstimulate as you can at a party overdo, but otherwise they're good. They're happy aspect, so to say. But the inconjunctions are, oh my God, they're not happy. They're like oil and water. They do not gel. They do not come together easily. They do not understand each other. Now, this is why you must watch last week's video, which is where I talk about love, which is what Venus is essentially. That's the ultimate. There's beauty there as well, and I talked about that one. I could possibly put that one in as well. Maybe those 2 are really the highlights of the Venusian themes, where I talk about Venus as this empowerment archetype and also about beauty and all that. So that is also relevant. All of it is relevant. The whole summer thing. Anyway, the point ultimately I'm making is that at this first eclipse, I think we will be hit with this very conundrum of what love is. That's ultimately what this, I think, the headline of the first eclipse is like, what is love? What is love to you? And how is your life, what's the word? How is it manifesting in your life? How are you content with what love is as per your life, your lived experience of it? And if not, what's going on? Now, that if not is the most interesting piece. So because Libra is where Venus is happy, I mean, it's a moon in Libra, but it's where Venus is happy. Then we have Neptune in Pisces. Neptune is happy in Pisces, and Venus is also happy in Pisces. But then we have Taurus, Uranus. So the 2 here are, it's like the conversation between Neptune in Pisces and Libra new moon will be about how do you how do you how do you practice love? The reason I'm hesitant is like I don't know, I don't want to bring the whole topic of what is love from the previous video, but essentially the conflict there, I'll just summarize it like that, is that the Neptunian love, which is where Venus is exalted, or Piscean love, you know, both, is the love of, it's the transpersonal love, it's the love as a noun. That's the answer to what love is, basically. Love is a noun, it's not a verb. And so how do you how do you how do you live, how do you love your partner, your friend, other people in your life if you are love? That's the question. Now, as soon as we get into Pisces realm, which is when Neptune is and in conjunct in this new moon, we enter a realm where logic kind of really doesn't work anymore. So the questions and the languages, as I start speaking on Neptune or Pisces or 12th house, I start to break up. Like my language starts to just like gets wafflier, like in a way that it's like I'm struggling to find words. I mean, I do have tangents and I can, you know, talk in meandering ways and all that, but that's different. This is what this is about, lack of clarity even for me to kind of like this. None of the words really do the trick, right? So that's the piece. It's like what love is really doesn't translate into relationships, in the sense that we don't need relationships to love. And yet it's like, even as much as I answer what love is in the way that I did, and it's like the highest, if you ask me, answer that you can have. I'm beyond more than aware in my own life. I don't practice that daily because I can't. I don't. And in a way I don't want to, and I talk about that in the other video. But it's like, because we just don't know how to be love. It's like when you get to that stage of Pisces and Neptune, in terms of your evolution, in terms of your relationship to love and your understanding of what love is, relationships don't matter anymore. They may matter as just a way of being a human, but they're not really a source of love anymore. Do you know what that means? Like how radical that can be when it comes to relationships, like that acceptance, that awareness, that realization that really you don't need relationships to feel or give or be or accept love. I mean, I don't know. I think it's super radical. That's what we're going to be uncomfortable about, I think. We will be realizing what really love is and how actually relationships are not there for love. And yet that doesn't take away even an iota, I don't know, or even the tiniest of ounce, whatever is a smaller unit of ounce, away from whatever your feelings are and your connection and the beauty of the connection you have with all the people in your life. Doesn't take even the sliver of that, this realization, but it will feel uncomfortable. Now, the dirty old self-love that I mentioned at the beginning, and where the answer is, and so I mentioned it is a health check. So this is how you're checking the health of your love. Like, what is love? Is this love? Is this the healthy expression of love? All that stuff, right? And so the Piscean love or the Neptunian love is the love of God, love of the love, right? The love, the ultimate unconditional love. That's so. Is that healthy? And like I say, I think we will, in understanding what love is in the highest expression, we recognize it. We have felt it. If you believe in God, you probably have it, or although that's actually still a relationship with another, i.e. God. So it doesn't really actually answer that. It doesn't actually even check that box for the health, if you ask me, but that could be another video, possibly not today. Then it would be the love of the other, which is the Libra piece, which I'm sure everyone will tick because we all love someone and someone loves us, so that's ticked like, but it's like the health of it. So you might have it in your life, but how healthy is it? But the health is challenged by this Pisces piece, right? And then we come to the Taurus piece, which is Uranus where it is, and then we have the full moon in Taurus, in November. The other eclipse is like, not so sure I love myself, right? Do I love myself? How do I love myself? Well, you'll answer that question. But the Taurian piece there, and so let me just kind of take it to the second eclipse, which is, like I say, 13th of November. No. Oh no, it's actually, sorry, 28th of October. 5 degrees Taurus, full moon, right? Opposite Mercury and Mars in Scorpio, conjunct Jupiter. It's a wider conjunction, but it's good enough. In fact, no, it's not too bad. It's a moon, so it's good. It's definitely conjunct Jupiter, which is all about good life. And then we have, it's supported. So we had Pisces conversation. We had a sextile between Pisces and with Uranus. But we had a sextile situation in the previous eclipse with the new moon in Libra. Now we have a sextile with the full moon in Taurus eclipse. It's a different sextile. It's between the actual new moon, full moon, sorry, in Taurus, and Saturn in Pisces. So that's a supportive aspect. So before we had a Pisces Libra, from Pisces with a conflict situation. Here in the second eclipse, we have a supportive conversation from Pisces, which whenever we move if you follow transits like this, like one eclipse to the other, like what changes, what's the trajectory, what's the narrative, what's the story, right? If it started off as an argument, then you look at those elements, those planets, those signs in that argument, right? Those houses, whatever, right, in your chart that is. You look at that, and then you move those same things, and you look, do they show up again in the second eclipse? And if they do, then you look at what the situation is. Has it been resolved? And the resolution, if it has been resolved, the same players will show up in a more favorable, easier, less challenging, less confronting aspect. So, you see what I mean? This conversation of like what love is, which will be, as I talked about just then, will now be resolved. But it's resolved with Pisces, because that's the ultimate love, and that's the ultimate question, like that we all recognize that love. Your love for your lover or partner, whatever, I will not recognize because it's not directed at me. But you as love in Piscean form, Neptunian form, I will recognize it. Everyone will recognize it. That's why that's the answer, right? So we are looking what's Pisces doing in the second eclipse, and it's doing good stuff. But with what? With Taurus. So that's what I mean. What's this showing us up is the Taurus piece. And just, I mean, this is what I mean, like at the start of this whole video, is that astrology is, or maybe other videos anyway, which is astrology, you don't have to know it. You don't have to know astrology. You will know that, the toughest love to feel and to practice is towards oneself. Right? That's it. You don't need astrology for that. But here's astrology actually telling us that that's what's going to show up as our difficulty, where we will see that we are the least healthy in loving our dirty old self. And I said that deliberately because Taurus is, at the beginning, I talked about those qualities, like to love ourselves in our muckiest, Taurus is the second sign. It's just so wrapped up in the self, and it's actually finding everything it needs in oneself. That's the ultimate self-sufficiency in the Buddhism of Taurus, if you like, the kind of detachment from everything else. I mean, it's the evolved Taurus. It's not like day-to-day. Well, no, it's an evolved expression of Taurus. But my point is, being the second sign where it lives in the chart is essentially like truly not concerned. It's like it hasn't even arrived at anywhere else to meet anyone else. That's where we first meeting would be a Gemini, sort of, right? And it's not even there. So Taurus is like this love. When no one's watching, when you are like naked, when you look your ugliest, and I say this because we are most likely to consider ourselves looking the ugliest when no one's watching, because we are not making an effort, because we don't have to, like I put a bit of makeup because I'm on here, right? Otherwise, if you saw me earlier, I would look less attractive, if at all, whatever, right? So that dirty old self, because that's Taurus. And why is Taurus? If you look at women or men, even probably, in fact, I know some definitely men, but like, and this is obviously, but I always am struck by that, like the beauty, and it's my kind of beauty, like it's my aesthetic. Taurus rising is usually very beautiful, like physically beautiful. It's a certain kind of beauty. It's very kind of voluptuous kind of beauty, sensual beauty. And so the point there is that actually, that is beautiful. The dirty old self is beautiful. And you often find that these women, sorry, because somehow my life is just full of women. I love you. Anyway, but is that it's kind of natural beauty, not too much makeup, not too much this or the other, right? That's my point. Because Taurus learns to love. In fact, it doesn't even learn, it loves. Actually, Taurus loves what is, loves the reality. So I said it's a health check of love, but it's really a reality check of love. Well, no, and is really a reality check of love. Like, what do you really love? Can you love reality? Both questions. What do you really love? And can you love reality, like your reality? What is the real you, like the unfiltered you, with no filters, with no makeup, the Taurus you, right? Can you love that? Now that is the missing piece, because we have, like I say, Uranus is there, and then we have Jupiter, like saying that that's the answer, right? When we move from that difficulty in the conversation between, and like I say, even without astrology, you will realize that that's the toughest love that we, we know how to do. It's the toughest one. So okay, let me see if there's anything else to say. Otherwise, this could be it. Oh yes, just to sort of give you the, I mean, if you need more guidance in terms of like how do you do this, like how, so what do you do, like, so as of today we are already in that run up to the eclipse, the energy is already ramping up, you're probably already feeling it. So the thing is to look at your chart, obviously, and there is a free PDF that you can get in my about section of the video channel, of this YouTube channel, which gives you the descriptions of each houses, so to help you understand what this whole love question for you is. So look at the Libra house and the Taurus house and the Pisces house, and then figure it out for yourself. Or you can even come to work with me to have a consultation with me, which also you have a link to new form at the end of the about page. I don't know if I will be available. My availability is not regular, so but it'll be all there, information will be there, so you'll be able to see. But the point ultimately is, like, so these are the themes. So it's about now listening to what's going on in your life. So this might not have anything to do with relationships and what love seems on the surface of it, but having listened and watched this, presumably, since you're here, hopefully still, right? I don't know, but then any of the themes that have kind of rung true, and you just kind of like made you sit up, maybe, they will be at the back of your mind. Keep them at the back of your mind, and as soon as you see something along those themes of like love and everything I spoke about here, right, then that's your cue. But also always first listen to your energy. So is your energy feeling like you have stepped on something, you have like you have just walked in on something that's actually really important, but now you know what it is, right? So you're kind of marrying the astrology with your real life experience, always real life experience. That's your ultimate validator. If that's leaving you flat, well, you probably wouldn't be here still, but still in your life, if you know what's going on astrologically, but in your life it's not resonating. And I had those times, like I would watch videos in the past, like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, it doesn't matter, right, on eclipses, and it would be speaking about certain themes or whatever, or I know them myself and all that. No, not much is going on in that area, and something else will be. Like I say, some eclipses are less monumental and less life-changing than others, absolutely, and it depends on your chart, where it lives in your chart, where those things are happening. So so just always listen to your life. But it's like knowing all of this, it's like a little, like a checklist, not health check of your love, but that too maybe, but just like, is it this, is the I'm feeling this, that's what it is, it's going on already in the ether. So good, this is like, that's the safety. So if it's something that it's challenging and it's difficult, and I'll put another video down there for my shadow work, like how to use astrology for shadow, that might be helpful as well. Then just kind of embrace it, because you're supported, and it's the themes that I just talked about, and all that. Okay, on that note, have a fabulous eclipse, and I'll see you next week.